September 1st, 2023 was a difficult day for Jimmy Buffett fans, a legend who encapsulated the perfect ideal of a lifestyle of leisure had passed from this mortal coil. Hopefully, Jimmy has moved on to something far better. As I remember the man who shaped so much of my life's philosophy, as well as my eclectic musical taste, I thought I would share my very favorite top 10 Jimmy Buffett albums that span a collection going all the way back to 1970. Wherever you are, old sailor, this one's for you. So these are my top 10 Jimmy Buffett albums with my self-imposed rules that there are no greatest hits or live albums included on this list. So let's get started. Number 10 could have brought us so many different albums that sit right on the cusp of this list. I settled for 1994's Fruitcakes. The album starts off strong with Everybody's Got a Cousin in Miami, Fruitcakes, and Lone Palm. It hits its stride with Quietly Making Noise, and finishes strong with Apocalypso. This was the soundtrack of my 1994. Coming in at number 9 is the soundtrack for the musical Don't Stop the Carnival. Released in 1998, this album features Jimmy Buffett portraying the protagonist Norman Paperman. In the role of Norman, Jimmy sings Herman Wouk's novel to life as the album follows the stage production beat by beat. Even at number 9, this is a can't-miss album. Number 8 bridges the 80s and into the neon-lit 90s with 1989's Off to See the Lizard. In my mind, this album only has one miss, and I'll leave that for you to discover. But other than that, this is wall-to-wall greatness. Carnival World, Gravity Storm, and the title track are often left out of concerts, but they rank right up there with some of Buffett's best songs. Number 7 takes us back to 1974, where it hit number 25 on the US charts. This is none other than the highway-inspired A1A. It includes the tracks Door Number 3, Life is Just a Tire Swing, Nautical Wheelers, Tin Cup Chalice, and the monumental all-time favorite, A Pirate Looks at 40. You cannot go wrong with this album. So, if number 7 featured A Pirate Looks at 40, how are we going to top that? Well, we still have 6 more to go, so let's find out. And speaking of 6, number 6 is a far more melancholy album. At least that's the way that it's always seemed to me. This is 1986's Flora Days. Out of the gate we're in the present with I Love the Now, then we jump back in time with Creola, and then we take a look at the near future with You'll Never Work in This Business Again. This tape was in heavy rotation in my bright red Pontiac Fiero, so you can imagine the looks I used to get. We're at the halfway mark with number 5, and if we get past the 80s from here on out, I'll truly be shocked. This was the era where Jimmy gave us his best work. We'll reveal number 5 as 1984's Riddles in the Sand. Who's the Blonde Stranger? Is this Ragtop Day bigger than the both of us? Is everything going to lead to love and decline? Well, that's why we wonder and follow La Vida Sant. Okay, enough of that. We're done asking riddles and we're moving on to number 4 with 1977's absolutely legendary Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. You guessed it. This is the album that features Jimmy Buffett's defining masterpiece, Margaritaville. Need I say anything else? The top 3 are going to be a race to the finish, and since we're headed out on the ocean, let's stop by that one particular harbor. This album from 1983 features the title track along with California Promises, 12-Volt Man, Distantly in Love, and Jimmy's version of the Van Morrison classic, Brown Eyed Girl. Start to finish, a perfect album. Number 2 was almost number 1 until I remembered that my all-time number 1 could never be replaced. So what would have been number 1? Well, it's our current number 2, and that's 1985's Last Mango in Paris. Any album that features a song with a whip crack performed by none other than Harrison Ford, a la Indiana Jones, has to be in the top 2. Of course, it also features the title track as well as the song that would eventually become a children's book, Jolly Man Sing. So what is my favorite Jimmy Buffett album? What album could possibly top those that feature all of Buffett's best-known hits? Well, I am a tragic die-hard Buffett fan, and this is an album that you've most likely never heard a single song from. And no, this isn't me being a hipster. Jimmy wouldn't put up with that. To me, this album has been unsurpassed since its release. It is the single most perfect album in Jimmy Buffett's entire discography. It is the album that I judge all other albums against. It plays as one perpetual lyrical masterpiece. There is not a single bad track on this entire album. It starts with Homemade Music, and it ends with That's What Living Is to Me. Of course, my number one favorite Jimmy Buffett album of all time is 1988's Hot Water. In my opinion, this has always been Jimmy Buffett's answer to Paul Simon's Graceland. It features similar African influences, and the entire album tells a cohesive musical story. It plays upon every emotion that dwells in our Caribbean souls. Hot Water is perfection amongst perfection. So there we go. What do you think of my list? Are your favorites on there? Are you going to seek out some of the albums yourself? What are your favorites? Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoy videos about the randomness of our amazing world, consider clicking on the globe to subscribe, or maybe checking out one of the other videos right here.